What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. It's been a while. Here I'm going to introduce a brand new carbon fiber wrap to hit the market. You can't just go rip your roof out of your car and put carbon fiber on it. It's impossible. Maybe it's not impossible. This is not your typical vinyl wrap. This is something very special and very unique. I've been waiting actually quite a while to get this in my hands. I'm going to explain why this is so much better than everything else, pretty much. I'm going to show you how it installs on the roof of this Acura NSX, explain the entire process and show you it. And I'm going to tell you exactly where you can get it all from. Now, if you guys are looking for those extremely detailed point of view videos, open forum discussion board, don't forget to check out my website, ckwraps.com. The link is in the top corner and the description below as well. Now, what makes this wrap so special? Well, first of all, this is not vinyl wrap. This is not your typical color change vinyl wrap. This is PPF. This is it's TPU basically though. So thermoplastic polyurethane. Why is this so special? Well, a lot of people get their vehicles actually PPF'd, which means paint protection film. That's what that stands for. Which means that it protects the actual original finish from stone chipping, swirl marks, sun fading, even deep scratches, even in accidents. It's pretty crazy stuff. Now, it's also very hydrophobic for a while. This is the top tier of wrap, in a sense. There's nothing that is more durable. There's nothing that is more sustainable. There is nothing that even comes close to looking as glossy. That is extremely important in your quest for carbon fiber, because dry carbon fiber, this kind of stuff right here, this is, this stuff's out of date. Nobody really wants this. It may be good for some interior pieces and so forth, but each to their own. But most people are going for a high super gloss carbon fiber with extreme depth. I did a recent video of this, or not too long ago, about a year, I guess, on a different kind of carbon fiber. What we have on the market so far, this is a sealed carbon fiber, just so you can see, which means that you can't get water between the laminate, which is the gloss layer, and the actual texture pattern itself. This looks really good. It looks even better outside, but this is about as good as it gets for a sealed color change vinyl wrap. Not to mention, the film itself is actually on a paper release liner. So the paper release liner is at a disadvantage because it typically tends to show more orange peel. Now, orange peel is not one of those things that you want in your paint job or in your PPF or in your vinyl wrap overall, color change or not. The brands that I'm actually going to be showing you guys is from FlexiShield. So FlexiShield, this is an American-based company. I've been to the manufacturing facility / warehouse training facility in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. I did training there years ago, and I've seen them make it there. So this is it's a US made product. The website is flexishieldUSA.com. Again, all of this is in the description below for you guys. This is their newer book. They've added color after color after color after color. You may have seen the other video that I did where I did the hood wrap on the Tesla of the Galaxy. That's the one right there. So that was one of the originals to hit the market. And this was basically the first color book to come out. This is the new one. Now, there's a substantial difference in size. As you can see here, they've been really on board with at least double the size or so. They've been really on board with coming out with new colors, making sure there's new finishes, and so forth. The idea here these days is that most people want their vinyl wraps to actually look like a paint job, so they can replicate how nice their car was basically from factory, but also have a color that they want. Not everyone's into matte or satin wraps as much these days, I would say. Things are changing, and especially with newer technology like this. So again, what also makes this very special is that this is a dry install PPF, which means that we don't use soap and water underneath like a color change film. We just install it as it is. There are some tricks and stuff like that I'm going to show you and explain. Some products here that are on the table that will help make the installation a lot easier. That way you can have the most enjoyable time, get the best result, and so forth. Products, there's not a lot here, just a few things. don't cost very much to make your life a lot easier and also to make the job look a lot better. Now, air release. It has air release, okay? That means it has an air release pattern in the actual adhesive side itself. Now this film, approximately as far as how thick it is substantially thicker than a color change film. We're usually looking at around 3.5 mil, let's say, to about 5.5 mil. When I say mil, I don't mean millimeters, I mean thousandths of an inch. So 3.5 to 5.5 thousandths of an inch. It's not very thick, right? The PPF is typically, it ranges from 7 to 8. This is about 7.5, so somewhere right in the middle. It's very standard. Too thick makes it very hard to work with, especially when it comes to wet apply. So they've maintained pretty much the same thickness as far as the cosmetic PPF goes versus the actual versus the actual clear PPF goes, or matte PPF for that example. Now in this book, again, I want to show you, they've added a ton of different colors. I'm actually going to choose one for my Jeep Gladiator. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of digging this black blue. I was hoping for a black red, but hey, you know, there's lots and lots of really luscious colors in here. You guys are probably like, oh, he said it was scratch proof. It is scratch proof. I'm actually going to show you that this stuff is scratch proof before we get into it. Black gold's pretty cool. I think that's been around for a while, but I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look through some stuff and decide. And there we have some carbon fiber, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, let's show you another color change PPF. And when I say color change PPF, I mean, color change wrap. I mean, it's more of a cast or a polymeric, sometimes calendar film. Calendar film and polymeric and cast. Again, all that information is on my website. I'm not going to get too far into that right now as far as also what TPU is. I did mention it. But this is also exterior-ish color change carbon fiber. This is probably some of the best that I've seen, except the issue here is that, possible issue, most likely going to be an issue, is that it's an unsealed laminate, which means you're going to get water between the laminate and the actual carbon fiber if you get a stone chip. Or you don't seal your edges, so if you have any exposed edges to water, where water could get in. This right here is the Flexi Shields PPF, carbon fiber. Cosmetic stuff. This looks absolutely incredible. It doesn't really get any more realistic to me. It looks absolutely incredible. You don't see the air release pattern through it. It is a dry installation. It comes on a PET release liner. It's plastic release liner, which keeps the film super, super glossy and more or less texture free. The other one over here that I had just shown you, this is paper. Again, most of the time it's paper. The matte one, it's paper, okay? It's all paper. So this other gloss one, it's paper as well, right? So this actually keeps the film texture free, which reduces the amount of orange peel, actually leaves next to none. I received this with no protective cap on it. You don't need it because it's self-healing, which means it's going to heal from scratches and swirl marks in the sun when it's warm out or hot out. When the sun's hitting it, you can use a heat gun, you can use hot water, you can use steam, whatever it is. The scratches will heal out. Some of the things that you're going to need to do the installation, really basic stuff, guys. A knife, a glove, preferably a wrap glove, a squeegee of your choice. You need a felt buffer on it. Products are on my website as well. That's about it as far as that kind of stuff goes. Maybe a tucking tool. I've got my Sign Maker Tools tucking tool. And then you're going to need, you need a heat gun right here, okay? We've got masking tape. These are, if you work without masking tape, I think that it's at a huge disadvantage. I think you can just go out and buy a roll of masking tape for a few bucks and it will help tremendously as far as your installation goes. We need isopropyl alcohol. This is not 99%. This is, I buy it 99%, but I dilute it to 70%. So that means I add water to the 99%. I want it to be about 70%. This helps strip grease, wax, other contaminants. When it comes to having the most pure form of wrap, as far as the finish goes, you're most likely going to want a clay bar as well, depending on how often the car has been driven or how old it is and so forth. This will enhance the overall appearance afterwards. A couple of clean cloths. One's for the isopropyl alcohol, and then one is going to be for a tack reducer. So we have two products here, just in case one of them may not be available. But we have Ape Apple Potion from Sign Maker / Yellow Tools. Again, links in the description below. We have Vivid Tack Reducer. Been using this for a long time. I know it works because I've done an installation with this stuff already on the Tesla using this. And this is a newer product to hit the market, hasn't been around for as long as Tack Reducer. This is typically not used for reducing the tack. Now, why do you want to reduce the tack? You want to reduce the tack in certain areas. We're going to go through that because it helps tremendously when it comes to the installation, especially doing it by yourself, but even when you're doing it with 2 or 3 people. It's going to help a lot because when you lift the film and it has a high tack, which this does, it's not a pressure sensitive film, it's going to possibly leave lift or glue lines. When you don't really want to have to lift the film when the film is bonded to the surface because those marks will typically happen. When the film feels like it's stuck down and you have to lift it, this is when problems usually arise as far as the finish goes. So we want the best overall appearance. Both more or less do the same thing. I'm just giving you 2 options here. I like to use a detail spray as far as what goes on the surface. This is just Wrap Fresh. This is for gloss particularly. This is designed for film. It's not designed for paint really. It's designed for film. And a tape measure, okay? Just so we can measure things out. I've already measured this. I've already done most of the prep as far as everything goes. When it comes to doing the actual prep itself, I wipe the roof down. I get in so you want to make sure you wipe the roof off really nicely. You're going to make sure that you're going to go over all the stone chips and see what's there because some things you can't remove. Now this roof actually has quite a bit of stone chips. It's a little bit older. I think this car is actually wrapped this already in chrome blue, believe it or not. And then the customer sold it. The dealership removed the wrap. Car's obviously great shape. And they sold it again. And then this is my customer again. How weird is that, right? Different customer. You're going to get into all of the edges with your cloth and your squeegee. So what you do is you mist the cloth right where the squeegee wraps around the hard edge of the squeegee, and you wipe inside of all of the edges. This way it cleans everything out. I had already wiped those edges a few times before actually wiping it that time for the video, and there was still dirt in there, right? So you want to make sure everything's super clean and pristine, because you want the best result. You want the film to stay. With this particular roof, we actually have some deep recesses and areas where we can tuck the film into. This is important. I'll explain why in a moment. I know I talk a lot, but this is important stuff, guys. Masking tape is for the purpose of being able to lift the film off of those opposite edges more freely, but also protects those outside edges from possibly slipping with your blade or your knife because you will have to cut. You don't want to accidentally scratch something. If you need more tape, put more tape down. Tape's fairly inexpensive. You don't have to worry about that. A paint job, on the other hand, is a lot more expensive, and you don't want to have to do that because nothing is better than the original paint. So this film, as I wanted to mention, is actually also, that's not it, is actually also a floating laminate, okay? Which means that if they seal this gloss layer on top of the carbon fiber, what happens is you don't get the same appearance. You get more of an appearance like this, a bit darker, okay? And this is actually built for exterior. Now, the other one over here, that looks really good as well, has a floating laminate. This is not PPF, this is polymeric film. This, if it gets a stone chip, which it most likely will, is going to get water between the laminates. This is PPF, okay? This is most likely not going to get a stone chip, most likely, okay? Doesn't mean that it can't. There's a little bit of risk involved here. And if you follow the instructions as far as how I do this installation goes, and you incorporate this when you're doing your own vehicle or customer's vehicle, you pretty much be fine until something, I suppose, hits it hard enough to cause something to pierce the layers and get towards that carbon fiber texture. Then it can possibly seep water in. The water typically dries out. You need to have warm weather for that. I'm in Canada here. We don't have warm weather for like 8 months a year. So we're kind of stuck as far as that goes, but it does typically dry out. Now, you don't want that to happen, obviously, but forewarning, okay? If you tuck in all your edges and you seal all your edges, this stuff should last quite a while. How long? Couldn't tell you. Again, if I throw a rock at the car, nothing's gonna hold up to that. No paint protection film or whatever. And think about driving down the highway. Speeds are extremely quick. Rocks are being slung from vehicles and something could possibly hit it and pierce it. May not be a rock even. So again, forewarning. You want to make sure that we're tucking in all those edges. So that's what I was saying. This is important with this roof right here, that I have these very particular areas where I can actually tuck the film into. Because if it's a roof where it doesn't have like a drip sill or an area on the sides where you don't have that area to tuck the film into, you're going to have to do something else, like use edge seal tape or something else. Just, you have to figure it out because it will leak water in through the sides. If there's a way for water, it will find its way, if there's any kind of hole at all. Now let's get into the actual installation. The last thing I didn't do was blow off the entire area with compressed air. This is the last step that I do right before I put the film on the vehicle. I have the film already cut. It's right here. It's not a very large piece, so this is fairly small. And I'm going to bring the camera in to also show you how to apply the APE potion on the surface, the areas to avoid, and so forth, because you don't want to put it everywhere. You want to put it in certain areas, and it's very specific to making sure that you have the best possible result in the end. Let's do it. I'm going to apply the APE apple potion. I'm going to show you how to do that. Take the cap off. We're going to squeeze a little bit into the actual chamber on the top there. Don't need a lot. We're basically going to dab this onto the cloth, and then we're going to wipe this onto the surface and let it dry. So I'm going to take that, make a few dabs. There we go. And then what we want to do, you can use a sponge too, it's totally up to you. I'm just going to take that really confined surface area, or the area, and wipe about 2 to 3 inches away from edges and mostly away from the recesses. Now the idea here is to wipe this on and cover as many square inches as you can on the inside of this box. As you can see, I kind of framed that area off. And I'm going to avoid that slight little recess there. Not that it probably really matters that much. It's not a very deep recess. Might apply a little bit more of this. Just saw like a weird, there's like a little circle in the actual roof itself. I missed it earlier. It's just something was on it. Looked like maybe someone had left something on it. Anyways, what I want to do is I want to wipe it in and cover as many square inches as possible. I just applied a little bit more there. We let it dry to a haze. Again, I can apply this into the recess. I do recommend not putting it too close to recesses or into recesses, because if it's a deep enough recess, obviously this is reducing the amount of tack. It could possibly cause the film to lift out. But we want to apply this to the largest, flattest areas. This roof, it's a roof, right? So it's pretty large and pretty flat. And having it covered with some of this is going to help a lot when it comes to simply air release and how the film is picked up and how that actually causes the film to look better in the end. You're going to have to pick it up and move it. It's most likely going to happen, even with 2 people. It may not go down the exact position you want it to in the very beginning. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that you can actually use a heat gun with this stuff. You don't want to overheat it. You also want to stay within about 15% stretch max. We don't need a lot of stretch on the roof. We're talking almost nothing actually, probably a few percent, if that, 2-3%. And the website where you can pick this stuff up from for the PPF goes, the cosmetic PPF in Canada, is wrapmarket.ca. Again, that is in the description below. Let's take the film and rest it on the actual roof. This is, I mean, there's no metal on this car as far as I know. A lot of it's plastic. You will want to run your carbon fiber obviously in a particular direction depending on other areas of the vehicle that may have already been wrapped in carbon fiber or may have carbon fiber on it. So I can't use magnets, like I said. We're gonna take this, we're gonna position. I have a lot of excess film. Actually, I'll push it back this way so you can see me cut a bunch of it off. So let's line up this side. It's a little bit easier, and then show you what I'll be doing. Make sure the front and the back are covered. I know this side is covered, and I'll take a corner, I'll lift it, I'll peel it slightly, stick it to the glass, or wherever you can. I'll do the same thing on this side. Stick that to the rear quarter panel section. Now let's take our blade and cut away a lot of this excess. This is great to keep. You want to keep it for door handles, mirrors, accent pieces, and so forth. This is valuable stuff. It's all interior pieces, whatever you can do with it. Take that, boom, cut that away, done. Rest that on the table. Usually I just put it in the car, but there's nothing else that's going to be wrapped in carbon fiber on this thing. How you remove this is totally up to you. Usually I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go from this corner to that corner, or that corner to this corner, kind of. Just depends on how you feel about things. So let's do it. I'll do it from this side. Just peel this. And we want to keep the film flat as possible. So I keep it a little bit tight. I anchor it, and I'm going to swing this down and around, just like this. Okay. We don't want to get a crease in it. It's going to be a super big bummer to get a crease in your actual film, because it might not heal out and look so good in the end. It's not going to be nice, guys. Stuff's pretty gorgeous. I will take you around for a full tour, and don't worry, you'll be zoomed in for everything as far as the installation goes. Let's remove the PET liner. Let's get that out of the way. Let's put it over there. What we typically want to do is we want to flatten this out a bit. So, right now, this is a mess. We don't want it to look like this. We're going to flatten it out. And what I'm also going to do is get my detail spray so I can be ready to squeegee the surface. I'm going to put that on the floor right over here. And that just helps your squeegee glide a little bit more freely. Lift it. Nice, okay? Pull this nice and tight. Cool. We're going to pull it out to this corner as well. See how nice it lifts? You want it to lift like this. Okay. We're creating a very particular type of wrinkle here that actually runs in the direction we want it to run. This way we can pull the wrinkles out towards the edge, okay? Pop that up, and bring that towards the back. Let's do the other corner. We're not quite done over here yet. Actually, let's do here first. I was going to say let's do the other side. So super low car, which is nice. Pop that up, nice and quick. Pop that up right there. There we go. And let's go here. Now, I haven't even used a heat gun yet, right? Because usually with something like this, I think you can apply enough muscle. I did say you need a heat gun, and you will, but you don't always need a heat gun to do a lot of the work setting things up. Pull it a bit out this way, cool, and let's go to the other side. So I thought I was going to squeegee it, but I'm not. I'm just going to leave it for a second. We're going to flatten this out. I want to see how this works as far as, getting it flattened out. Let's lift this side up, and perfect. One more time. Perfect, and nice and tight, guys, okay? So pulling out left and right, and out to this corner. Nice and tight. You can see my hands are nice and close together. This makes a difference. Cool, I'll get those out. Let's work this corner right over here, and we almost have this completely flattened out. Oh, one more. There we go. I like things to be as even and symmetrical as possible. Pulling hard. Hey, you're probably, if you rip this stuff, you gotta be Superman, because oops, see I had an anchor here? It pulled back a bit. It's not going to pull back later when I cut, but I do need it to stay anchored. Yeah, you're probably not going to rip this stuff. It's PPF. Did that work out the same this time? If you rip this stuff, I would be totally impressed. There we go. Okay. I'm going to do a little more fixing on the front corner on the other side. Doesn't look as flat over here as I would like it to. So basically right over here. One more. Oh, two more, okay. And again, nice and tight. You can probably see the car moving slightly. That's not a bad thing. You might see it rocking around a bit. There we go, and that's looking a lot better over here. And let's just get these ones pulled up to the front. And again, no heat. The chances of this ever failing are almost impossible. It's not gonna pull back. It can't pull back because I didn't heat and stretch too far. Let's throw a little bit of my Wrap Fresh on the surface. Probably don't need a lot for this. Start from about the middle, and we're gonna work our way out. Nice angle. Okay. If we get a bubble, it's okay. Squeegee with some confidence, super important. The air will come out. If you get the odd one, you just push down on it. If they get really close to the edge, what you can do is you can just lift a little bit. There we go. And I'm gonna go this way, right out the front. There's a big bubble here, so let's get this one out. More. There we go. Okay. And beautiful. Don't like squeezing with my left hand, so let's switch it back. Great. Let's take care of this side over here. You'll have a much better view on the other side. But I'll bring you in for all the cutting and everything, don't worry. This is just a lot easier right now to not move the camera too much. Because you don't want to let the vinyl or the film sit for too long. As you let it sit for longer, you know, you can hear those air bubbles. They begin to get trapped a little bit more. It becomes a pain, you know, so you don't want to let it sit too long. Let's go a little bit more over here. And I have to open this up because it's just trapping a little bit too much. There we go. You can see why you want to reduce the tack, right? You want to reduce that tack to make your life much easier. You don't really want to hold the film up and apply tension to an edge as well as you squeegee, because what will happen is you'll get glue lines. Because tension at an edge for a period of time can cause glue lines to happen. You can hear those bubbles, they're going away. Yep, cool. There'll be nothing left when I'm done, obviously. Can't leave anything there. And if it begins to bind a bit too much at the side, then I'll just lift it a little bit more again. So over here, super easy to get the rest out. We're very close to the edge. There we go. Let's go a little bit right here, just give it a pop, just like that. And, oh, one little bit more. There we go. So what I mean by tension at an edge is kind of how I'm holding it here, but if you apply heat and you pull it like that, you're going to get a glue line. That's not good. All right, so far so good. Let's go to the other side. It's gonna be a little streaky, obviously, because I sprayed detail spray on it. We'll clean it up afterwards. All right, let's squeegee here. One last bubble there. Let's work the air out the front. So I'm gonna make sure I overlap my passes really thoroughly. Can barely see any stone chips at all. I don't even see any, actually. And some of those imperfections that were in the actual black. Let's pop right here. We want to open this section up. Oops, let's go a little bit more. One more, and we should be there. Hand, if you put your hand there, it's going to be very clean and pop quickly. Okay, that's open. I'm trying to create a pathway for the air to come out very easily, just like this, without adding any heat. And you add heat, that's when things go or get messy. That's a big bubble right there. We're gonna just lift this side one more time, right here. So right here, and pop, pop, okay? So that opened up again over here, that's okay. It lifted very easily, which is nice. We're gonna squeegee all that as well. There we go, okay. Your squeegee technique is very important. You don't want to be squeegeeing the wrong way. Basically, there's pushing and petting, and we are most of the time pushing with color change film, which is basically what this is. It is PPF, but this is not wet apply film. So that's, I guess, the main difference is that it's dry apply. Cool. I'm always making wrinkles to run a certain direction so I can counteract them by pulling the opposite direction. Just this little area over here to finish up, so I'm gonna lift it because I already know that I'm getting a little bit trapped, so I'm just gonna lift it once here. Should be okay. Cool, we're gonna just hold that slightly like that. Come to about here, cool. We're gonna take this, just keep it tight, nothing crazy, and put it down, and then we're gonna follow through right away. Nice, okay. Oh, someone come back there, there we go. All right, we're gonna check out everything. We wanna make sure that, you know, there's no air left behind. I'll even go over with a more firm squeegee. So my last squeegee was a little bit soft for my liking actually. So with this type of film, I should have been using a more firm squeegee. It just feels better. It squeegees the air out better. Overall, you'll be more successful with a more firm squeegee with this film. Let's cut this away. And this is why we have tape here, okay? Just in case. I'm not even cutting on the tape. I'm just cutting near the tape. The tape is there more for a precaution. Let's get rid of that scrap. We're gonna do all this, actually might as well right now, so let's just cut a bunch of this away as well so it doesn't stick to the glass. I still have tape on the window because I don't want to cut the window. I don't want to scratch anything, right? Same thing back here. See how easy it lifts off the tape? It's beautiful when you have the tape there. Then we're gonna start getting stuff tucked in. So I will end up moving the camera to bring you in closer for this kind of stuff. But let's finish off the rest of the cutting. Woo! Almost slipped there. Forgot that was there. See, that's why you have to put your release liner away in the garbage. That never happens to me. Beautiful, all right. Come around this side. If you guys are really lucky, I mean it's raining outside. If you're really lucky, I'll get some video of it with some sun. It's not sunny, it's raining out, but hopefully it won't be too dark. So at least we can see it outside. Because I do have some pretty nice lighting in here, which, you know, does accentuate, could accentuate how it looks in appearance-wise. All right, we're gonna look at it. We're gonna make sure we're gonna go over it. I'm gonna wipe it off a little bit. I did see one small bubble right there. Let's get rid of that. Cool. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to first, I'm gonna wipe it off, but I'm gonna lift a little bit and just get the film sort of pre-tucked a little bit right there on those sides. So I'll do the same thing on the driver's side over here. I'm not going nuts here. I'm just kind of getting it a little bit tucked in there, and then we're gonna go to town. So let's wipe this off with, you can use some detail spray again. Sometimes it can leave it a little bit more streaky. We'll give it a shot. Let's go back and forth here. And we wanna make sure that we don't have any more air left behind. The odd imperfection, I see one, where did I see it? Right there, that's it. Otherwise, I see nothing else. Oh, I saw one more. Where was it? I have to really look for it right about there. Yeah. So the detail spray is working really nicely. The Wrap Fresh is working really nicely in removing the Wrap Fresh that was already there to give us a nice visual look. One thing I did forget to do was show you the scratch test. We will do that. We'll do that probably at the end, since I'm already into this. Man, that looks incredible. All right. Let's now take our heat gun, take our glove, and get the camera into a better position to show you how we're going to do the edges and everything else. Okay, guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to put our wrap glove on, and we're going to get ready. We're going to make sure that the film is elevated from the tape. It shouldn't be sticking to it very much at all. It's not, which is good. A little bit right there. We're going to heat it. Watch what happens here, okay? You're going to see it move. Okay, this is important. Why? Because you want your edges to shrink before you cut. Very, very, very important. This is like almost all films, but regardless, so you can see it all doing its thing. Nice. We'll get all the way over there in a second. I will not see it go smooth. This is the idea, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger and run over the top edge while it's still warm and start getting it down and around slightly. I'm going to get it down a little bit more heat. Cool. Keep a little bit of heat on it. You can hear it. That's good. Okay, let's go to the other side and do that side where you guys are. So again, we're just going to heat it. You're going to see that move. If we got a little bit of air there, just make sure you get it out. It's cool. We're looking for this movement always. I have my heat gun on the hottest setting, just so you know. Cool. I want to make sure that the film is elevated. I don't think I checked this side, so make sure it's elevated from the tape. It's a little bit sticky. There we go. Cool. All right. Let's hit that with some more heat again. There we go. All right. Let's work that down and around slightly. Nice. And right to the window edge. Beautiful, right? Now, what are we going to do here? This is also very important because we want to tuck this down as far as it can go. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually take my knife and I'm going to cut about, so basically I'm going to cut about 1/8 of an inch from the window edge onto the window. I'll bring this down from the middle. That's going to give me a little extra to tuck in. I don't want to go too far because I don't want to have too much excess inside of there as well because it'll just be bunching up. But I want to have enough to actually get that in there and make sure that water isn't going to get to the surface. Now I don't need to do that on the paint side, so I'm only doing it on the glass side. Why? Because the paint side actually gets tucked in underneath the actual trim piece. Before we even try to tuck this in, we're going to lift off the tape again. So let's go from here. I use the edge of the roof as a guide. When the edge is facing down and it's tucked away, the chances of water coming up and in, I mean, I don't even think there's wind coming into there, but I suppose it's possible, anything's possible, but are very unlikely. Okay, let's lift with our wrap stick off of the edge. That's beautiful right there. Okay, we're gonna tuck this in now. We don't need any more heat. This is, well, you can use heat if you want to. We're just gonna come in there and get that down there really, really nicely so it looks super OEM. Now I'm not gonna do right to the corner yet because I need to cut out the rest for the side. I'll show you that in a second. So we're gonna get fairly close to the corner. You'll see, we're not gonna go right to the corner. So when you come right to about 1 inch or so away, I'll go over everything with heat afterwards anyways. Now, what are we gonna do here on this side? I'm gonna get the camera, where's the best view? That's the trick question. Let's move the camera. Okay guys, so same thing over here. I'm gonna start trimming from the back. I'm gonna trim some away. I'm gonna get the film as close to the seal as possible, and then I'm gonna trim more away. But I do wanna trim some away right now. As I cut right now, what I'm doing is, it's called like a drag and cut. I'm not really cutting on anything. I'm just lifting the film up as like against my blade. Slip this off, make sure that we have coverage, because again, we want this tucked in. So you can see that it's going in there a bit, right? And you can see that slight curl. This is super, 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 super important with this because we need it to tuck away. Now there's actually a really nice gap under here where, I mean, I could even probably, I don't need my glove on anymore right now, so I should take that off. But I could probably even push on it and maybe pull it back a little bit and just get that tucked in there as deep as it will go and then do my cut. You can see it going in there even further. I don't want it to go too far, because too far means we're gonna have too much excess. It's gonna be a super big pain to actually cut and tuck too much excess in if there's no room for it. So this is pre-tucking. Great. All right, I think we're good with all of this right here. I'm gonna fold this back. I wanna look. I'm gonna start my cut from where I'm comfortable, which is back here. I'm gonna bring it forward. Basically what I'm doing right now is I'm running my knife on the underside edge of this plastic pillar piece. You can hear a little dirt in there, it's okay. You can only get so much. You can hear the actual carbon fiber texture more than anything else. And then my knife is sort of resting against that top edge or the bottom edge of that pillar, so I'm kind of pushing up a bit, right? Let's remove that. Let's work our way back, and then same thing, let's finish off the cut. So I have to make sure that I know where I started, because I don't want to tear the film. Nice, okay. We can now finish off the corner. So let's do that. I probably don't need a glove at this point. I shouldn't. Let's get right in there, let that film shrink, kind of see it do its thing. I usually use the buffer side first. And let's get that tucked in there super clean, super nice. Let's go over the whole thing right here with a bit of heat. Let's get it rolled in. You can hear it slightly. Still had a loose edge there. We don't want any loose edges. Nice. Now I don't hear anything. Same thing on the back and the other side, so we're gonna go do that. Let's do it. All right, guys, we're going to lift off of here. Get a little pre-tuck going on just as a bit of a buffer here. Nice, all right. We're gonna cut a little bit more away just to make sure that I don't have too much. It's a little bit easier when there's a little bit less. So again, pulling the film against the blade. I know that I have enough because I pre-tucked it to the edge. I'm just not as far in yet as I want to be. So we're gonna pull this back off of that edge. I'm just gonna straight up go for the tucking tool, my wrap stick, because it's just a little bit better. Just tucks in a little bit nicer. Let's go, if I can pry that. I can pry that a little bit. See that? That's pretty cool, right? You can hear that tucking in there. It's nice. I can even see it kind of curling down and in. It's good. That's what we want. Mainly the front, I feel like, would be the biggest threat. So with things coming straight on at it. I'm gonna take my knife right now, let's roll that back a bit. Let's come in underneath, and let's cut from here out, and then come up a bit, just like that. And then we're gonna work our way towards the back. Did I miss something? No, we're good. Yeah. There we go. Very gently with our knife. We don't have to push hard when we have a sharp knife. You're gonna begin to see some finger marks and stuff like that, and smudges because I'm touching it, but the film. But yeah, we don't have to push hard with our knife. Let the blade do the work. And that makes risk extremely low. If you push hard, you'll do damage. More than likely going to do some damage. So let's finish off the back. Cool. Let's remove this very, very carefully. I missed a very small spot. See, don't want to miss anything, because that will cause you to tear the film. And it does tear if you're not careful. So just for example, if I cut a little slit, or I don't think I can tear it like this because it has a clean edge, but if I cut a slit, because it has carbon fiber, it actually tears quite easily, okay? So we have to be careful of that. This is just mainly because it's carbon fiber. It's very normal. Just take some heat. Again, let's heat up this front corner right there. Let the heat kind of do its thing, and then get that tucked in there really nicely. All right. So a lot of you are probably like, why would you wrap anything in carbon fiber? Okay, let's just put it this way for those skeptics. I would love to see you put carbon fiber on your roof that looked real, with real carbon fiber, other than using a wrap. This is not for weight savings. We're adding a little bit of weights, whatever. This is for an aesthetic, because this car actually comes with the option of having a carbon fiber roof. Whoever bought the car originally did not opt for that option. All right, last spot is the back, and then this is done. I'll clean it up and I'll bring you in so you can see. Let's bring it to a camera over. Same deal here. We're gonna lift off the tape slightly, just so it's not sticking, because we want the film to shrink when we add heat. We want it to do that. That movement right there is what we're talking about. This is where the magic happens as far as durability goes. Okay, I can get my glove on actually. I don't have it on yet. And we can get right into finishing up that edge on this side. So add a little bit more heat, keep that warm. Let's get that rolled down just ever so slightly. Get some more shrinking on the other side there, just because I want to reach across. Cool. Let's get the heat gun coming around to the other side and do the exact same thing. Then we'll cut, then we'll tuck, and then we're done. Really not too complicated here. It's pretty nice to use. It looks fantastic. A little bit of heat, a little push. Nice. All right. Now I don't need my glove anymore. Let's cut. I want to find, again, the glass edge, the actual plastic that's there. I'm gonna be super careful with this one. I probably should have double masked it, because we're cutting on the actual piano black. We don't want to damage it, right? Nice and fine to cut like this. Just letting you know. I'm leaving myself enough to tuck in. Have not cut through it, as you can see there. It's all one piece. As I get to the end here, I will cut through it, but I'm lifting. This way, it's gonna allow me to sort of tear it, hopefully, along. No, it's actually, of course, totally different than PPF. So what I'm gonna do, since it's different, is lift the film and do my cut with an elevated edge. This way I don't have to worry about pushing harder. Pushing harder is not good, especially when I don't have enough layers of tape there. I don't wanna push into that piano black that's there on that little trim piece. You could wrap the trim piece on the back. The issue with it, though, with this one, is that the brake light, the third brake light, is actually like flush with the trim piece. So it makes it extremely difficult to cut around it without actually cutting on the piano black. Let's go to this side. Trying the best to stay out of your way for this. Here we go. And same thing, keep about the same amount and just glide. Probably in your way, but I have to see. Just a spot there, there we go. Nice. I forgot that it's not just a window there. That's my bad. I probably wouldn't scratch the window even if I did press through. I always put tape on the window just in case, but the piano black is a different story. All right, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna lift the film off of the tape. It's probably slightly elevated already. Nice. Let's check the other side. We'll begin on the other side. I gotta kick that out of the way. We'll begin on the other side and work our way over to that end. I'm excited to show you guys the gloss black also. I won't be showing it on this car, I'll be showing it as a different demonstration, but I'm gonna be showing you the gloss black. A little bit of heat, get that film sort of tucked in there a bit. This gap's a little bit tighter, so I'm going to have to use the hard edge of my squeegee. And if I have too much film, I'm gonna have too much film. Then I'm gonna have to cut some out. Okay, it's going. Just the gap is tighter in the middle than it is at the ends. Probably because there's anchor points or clips here, so I got my wrap stick, we're good. It's all nicely tucked in, beautiful. You see that that's tucking in already. See how I'm Pac-Manning that in there? I always prefer to start with my squeegee because the surface area is actually wider, so the chances of leaving any air behind at the very edge is extremely unlikely. Let's get the heat gun back over here. Should be able to stay out of your way for this one. So let's go over it again with the squeegee first, and then we'll get in there with the tucking tool. Let's get the buffer side first. Nice. Let's get the hard edge. Maybe that's gonna be good enough. You never know. Because it's still wider, that's a wider edge than the actual wrap stick. And then if we can't get it in with this edge, then we end up using the wrap stick. So right there, it seems to be a little bit tighter. And then here, it's not so bad. And then we've got most of it in. So let's get right in here and finish that up. Nice. Okay, let's go over it. Super important. Yeah, it's definitely a lot looser on the ends. And that is, that's tucked in there about as far as I could ever imagine it being. Just keeps going and going down there. So that's a big gap. Nice. All right. I'm gonna get this cleaned up. We'll remove the tape, give it a once over with a wipe so there's no fingerprints and smudges, and then show you guys what's going on. As far as everything goes visually, this is it. It's not a huge overall difference from what you saw earlier because the roof was already black, but I mean, from where I'm standing, this thing looks like real carbon fiber. You wouldn't even know. Let's bring the camera in and show you guys what exactly it looks like because I want you to see and get a better close-up of how nice this looks. And then I'm gonna show you how scratch resistant or how scratch proof this stuff is. Look at that. That is phenomenal. Look at that. Clarity, the reflection, like it is crazy. So again, the roof was already black, right? It's not a huge overall difference from what you saw earlier, but just check how the light just hits that and the depth that you see. Get you right in the middle there. Let's bring you over here, actually. There we go. Let's get you right in there. Yeah. There's not a single scratch on this, right? How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Huh. Not a single scratch, not one. And as anyone knows, as a wrapper, or wrapping with carbon fiber, or any gloss film actually for that matter, if you can't wrap with a stretchable or pliable plastic cap on it, you're always gonna get scratches. And not only that, down the road, when the customer washes the car or you wash your own car or whatever you do that makes contact with the surface after it has been wrapped, it's gonna get scratches in it. So let's do a little test here with a few pieces that I have. We'll do the Flexi Shields, we'll do the we'll do the unsealed carbon fiber, we'll do the sealed carbon fiber, and why not just throw the dry one in there for the sake of it. Now I'm gonna put this on the hood. I know, I didn't wipe the hood down, it's probably a little dusty. I know that the hood has PPF on it, so I'm not gonna damage anything, but just to show you, I'm not gonna be using my knife or anything crazy like that. So we have, I'll bring the camera in, but we have dry, sealed, unsealed, and unsealed but PPF carbon fiber. This is where the magic happens, in my opinion. It's not only the fact that it looks great, it just stays looking great. Okay, so there's already scratches in it just from squeegeeing that little bit. Let's bring the camera right over and make sure you guys can see these scratches. So I'm gonna scratch them all as equally as I possibly can. Obviously this is important. I don't try to cheat. I'm not trying to hide anything. There's no point in that. It doesn't make any sense. Now, you can see much more light on the Flexi Shield. I'll go through these one by one with you for a second here. This is the dry. This is the sealed. This is the unsealed. And then this is the unsealed PPF carbon fiber. Let's scratch it. There's already no scratches in it. There's scratches in this one, that one you can't really see anything, it's matte. Let's scratch it, okay? So this is a brass brush. I'm not messing around. I'm pushing hard, okay? Like here. Okay, let's scratch this one. I'm gonna show you the scratches in all these, okay? I didn't even do as much on the other ones. I mean, that matte one is kind of pointless, but hey, whatever, just throw it in there. Now, let's bring that camera in and heat at the same time. So let's get the camera nice and close. Let's find the right angle, which means I need to find an angle, there we go, where you can see. Let's bring the camera back a little bit just to get a wider area. Cool. Okay, I'm in your way. There we go, lots of scratches. Okay, heat gun on, right there. Right here is where you're gonna see. So let's heat it. Look at that. It's incredible. I know it's not a magic trick, okay? This is just heat. There's some streaks on it. That's about it. These are not scratches. There's streaks right about, can you see them right there? Okay, this is the unsealed carbon fiber right next to it. Okay, this is the PPF unsealed carbon fiber. There's your scratches. Some will go away. Okay, not all. Pretty good though. That's actually not bad. It's better than I thought it would be, to be honest. But lots of scratches still, okay? They're not going away. Let's do the seals. Not much. And then are there any scratches in this? Not really. The matte is, I mean, it's more durable in a sense because it's not gloss. I think it's just smeared, yeah. Okay. And then same thing here. Let's give that a wipe off. So there are still a lot of scratches in this right here. Okay, look at them. Let's go over. None. Like none. I've never seen PPF heal this well, actually. I don't know what it is, because usually there's at least a couple. This is not good. This is still not good. And then this one, it's dry, it's nothing on it. We're talking about gloss mainly, right? That's pretty much it, guys. That is the full installation on the roof with Flexi Shield PPF carbon fiber. You can pick this up from the links below in the description. I'm just here to show you guys a new product. I thought the carbon fiber would definitely be a hit because it's carbon fiber. Everybody wants this stuff. And you can't just go rip your roof out of your car and put carbon fiber on it. It's impossible. Maybe it's not impossible. Maybe you could add real carbon fiber to your painted roof. I have no idea. The beauty of this is that everything that's underneath that will stay original. So when you remove it, I mean, you can remove it and it's gonna be protected the entire time. The roof won't fade, the roof won't stone chip, the roof won't get any more scratches. I mean, it's beautiful. The most durable carbon fiber in the industry is now glossy and has extreme depth to it. Again, if I can get video and pictures outside, I'll include it in the video for you guys. If I didn't do it, I apologize because it's cloudy and dark and gray. But again, I wanted to show you this. I think it's pretty awesome. Stay tuned for more videos. As always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Take care.